All right, so this time we're diving into something you might not expect moving truck driving.
It's a career path that's actually way more interesting than people realize, full of surprises.
You guys sent in a ton of stuff from RoleCatcher, their career guides, interview tips, all of it.
And it paints a picture of a field that's changing rapidly, especially with technology.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye too.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about your grandpa's trucking industry anymore, huh?
Definitely not. This isn't just about maps and CB radios anymore. We're talking serious tech upgrades.
Okay, so break it down for me. What does that actually look like for someone behind the wheel?
Well, imagine this. You're on the road, but you've got real-time GPS tracking, logistics software helping you optimize your route.
No more getting lost with a paper map and hoping for the best.
Exactly. And it's not just about navigation. These systems can even track your driving for fuel efficiency, communicate with dispatch if there's a traffic jam up ahead,
So it's about making the job smoother, more efficient.
and way safer, which is a huge priority in this line of work, right?
Absolutely. The guide really emphasizes the safety aspect. And not just for the driver themselves, but
For the cargo and everyone else on the road, too. We're talking about people's entire lives packed into that truck.
that's a huge responsibility.
It is. And that's why the training is so thorough. They don't just hand you the keys and say, good luck.
So what does that training involve? What are some of the skills you need to master?
Well, you're learning about securing cargo properly, understanding weight distribution. It's almost like physics in action.
You're basically becoming an engineer of cargo Tetris,
Mhm.
making sure everything fits snugly and safely.
Exactly. One wrong move and that antique armoire could turn into a battering ram.
Yikes. Okay, I get it. It's serious business.
It is, but it's also a field with a surprising amount of career growth potential.
Yeah, the career ladder outlined in the guide was not what I was expecting at all.
Right. You start by assisting, getting hands-on experience, learning the ropes,
And then you can work your way up to driving, road optimization.
and eventually you could be managing a whole team of drivers, overseeing logistics for a whole region.
The guide even mentions becoming an owner-operator. Starting your own business, that's a whole other level.
It is. It speaks to the entrepreneurial spirit this career path attracts.
And let's not forget that 5% growth projection over the next decade that really stood out.
That's massive, especially in today's job market. That kind of job security is golden.
For sure. Okay, so you've landed an interview. Congrats. But now you're facing RoleCatcher's interview prep section with 120,000 potential questions.
Yeah, that sounds super intimidating, but that's where the magic of their AI comes in.
Okay, so it's not just a massive list of every possible question they could throw at you.
No way. It's personalized. They analyze the job description, your skills, even your CV to predict what you are most likely to be asked.
So no more frantically Googling, what are your weaknesses? 5 minutes before the interview.
Exactly. RoleCatcher takes the guesswork out of prepping, which can be a lifesaver.
And they pull jobs from tons of sites, not just their own, which is super convenient.
Right. It streamlines the whole job hunting process.
That's like having a secret weapon for your job hunt.
Exactly. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about a different kind of skill set, the kind you need when you're face-to-face with a customer on moving day. Because this job isn't just about driving and logistics.
Right, we've talked about the tech side, but at its core, this is about moving people's lives.
Exactly. And that comes with a whole other set of challenges and rewards.
So paint me a picture. What's the human element of being a moving truck driver?
Well, imagine this. You're not just dropping off boxes. You're often dealing with people on one of the most stressful days of their lives.
Oh, absolutely. Moving's right up there with death and taxes on the stress scale.
For sure. So you might be walking into a situation where people are anxious, overwhelmed, maybe even a little emotional about leaving a place they called home.
And you're the one who has to navigate all of that while maneuvering a truckload of their belongings.
Exactly. It takes a special kind of person to handle that with grace and professionalism.
It's like you're not just a mover, you're a therapist for the day.
That's a great way to put it. You're helping them through a major life transition, one piece of furniture at a time.
And sometimes maybe that furniture is a life-size ceramic giraffe, right?
Okay, you got me. You're never going to believe this, but there's actually a story in the guide about that.
I'm not surprised at this point.
Yep.
Tell me everything.
So this driver shows up to a move, and the customer had seriously underestimated the amount of stuff they had.
Let me guess, they forgot to mention a few minor details.
Exactly. Including a ceramic giraffe that was too big to fit through the door.
Oh no. So what did they do?
They had to get creative, ended up calling their dispatch, finding another driver nearby who adds some extra space.
Talk about teamwork.
Right. They pulled it off, the customer was thrilled, and the driver ended up getting a glowing review that boosted their reputation within the company.
See, that's what I love about this deep dive. You think you're just learning about one thing,
Yeah.
and it turns out to be about so much more.
Exactly. Moving truck driving isn't just about driving, it's about problem solving, customer service, and maybe a little bit of animal wrangling in this case.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the human element, but what about the actual job hunt?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher really shines.
Because,
Because they connect the dots between different aspects of the job search in a way that I haven't seen anywhere else.
okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Okay, so remember how we talked about their AI-powered interview prep?
Yeah, the whole personalized question thing, super cool.
Right. Well, they also have this amazing resume and CV builder.
Right, I saw that. But how are those two things connected?
Okay, so let's say you're building your CV, right?
Yep.
And you're trying to describe a specific skill.
Like excellent communication skills. That's my go-to. What's so special about that?
Well, RoleCatcher has this feature where you can click on that skill, and it instantly pulls up relevant interview questions related to communication.
Whoa, hold on. So it's not just helping you write your resume. It's actually helping you think through how you'd talk about your skills in an interview.
Exactly. It helps you come up with concrete examples from your experience, which is what really makes you stand out.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm usually just listing skills without really thinking about how I would actually back them up in a conversation.
I get it. We've all been there. But it works both ways, too. Let's say you're practicing your interview answers and you realize you're a bit weak in a certain area.
Oh no, been there too.
Well, RoleCatcher will suggest relevant skills you can add to your CV to strengthen your profile.
So it's like having a personal career coach in your back pocket.
Mm.
I love it. But, we've been gushing about the cool stuff, and we should probably address the elephant in the room.
You mean the fact that no job is perfect?
Exactly. There have to be some downsides to being a moving truck driver.
Right. You're absolutely right. Every job has its pros and cons, and the RoleCatcher guide actually does a great job of outlining those challenges.
Okay, so lay it on me.
Hmm.
What are some of the not-so-glamorous aspects of this career path?
Well, for starters, it's physically demanding work. We've talked about the mental side of things, the problem solving, but there's also the sheer physicality of it.
Right, you're lifting and loading heavy furniture all day long.
And you're not always moving those antique chairs into a spacious mansion with an elevator. Sometimes it's a fifth-floor walk-up in a tiny building.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would take a toll on your body. What else?
The hours can be long and unpredictable. You're often on the road, away from home.
Dealing with traffic, navigating unfamiliar cities.
Exactly. It's not the kind of job where you can just clock out at 5 p.m. and forget about it until the next morning.
You're on call, you're constantly adapting to new situations.
And that can be both exhilarating and exhausting. It's not for everyone.
So self-awareness is key. Right?
Yeah.
You really need to understand your own strengths and weaknesses before jumping into this field.
Absolutely. And that's what's so great about RoleCatcher. They don't just tell you about the job, they give you the tools to figure out if it's actually the right fit for you.
It's like they're holding up a mirror and saying, okay, here's the deal. Now what are you going to do with it?
Precisely. And speaking of figuring things out, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, automation.
Yeah, the robot in the room, so to speak.
Exactly. It's the question on everyone's minds these days, are robots going to replace truck drivers?
And it's not just truck driving. Automation is poised to transform a lot of industries in the coming years.
Absolutely. It's a topic that sparks a lot of anxiety, and rightfully so. But the RoleCatcher guide actually takes a really balanced approach, exploring both the challenges and the opportunities that automation presents.
Okay, so no easy answers, got it.
Yeah.
But what does the guide say about how automation might specifically impact the moving truck industry?
Well, it doesn't sugarcoat things. It acknowledges that, yeah, self-driving trucks are becoming more sophisticated.
So robots packing the truck, robots driving the truck.
Yeah.
Where does that leave the human drivers?
That's the million-dollar question, right? But here's the thing. Moving furniture, it's not as simple as it seems. It's not just about picking up heavy objects. It's about navigating tight spaces, protecting fragile items.
Yeah, like that antique armoire we talked about earlier. One wrong move and it's game over.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the customer service aspect, people skills, empathy, the ability to think on your feet and diffuse a stressful situation. Those are all things that robots, at least for now, aren't very good at.
That's reassuring, I guess.
Yeah.
There's still some things robots can't replicate.
At least not yet. But the guide goes even further, suggesting that automation might actually create new opportunities for human drivers.
Okay, now that's interesting. How so? What kind of opportunities are we talking about?
Well, as this technology evolves, someone's got to manage those robots, right? Oversee the logistics, make sure everything runs smoothly. This could lead to new roles in fleet management, logistics coordination.
So instead of being replaced by robots, you might end up managing them.
Exactly. It's about adapting and evolving alongside technology. The guide even mentions things like robot maintenance and repair as potential areas of growth.
So the key takeaway here is don't panic about the robots, but do stay informed, stay curious, and stay adaptable.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The future of moving truck driving might look different than it does today, but it's still a viable and potentially very rewarding career path.
Especially for those who are willing to embrace change and learn new skills.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be doing a deep dive on Robot Whisperer as a career path.
That's something I'd tune in for. But for now, I think we covered a lot of ground. Any final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with?
Just this, whether you're considering a career as a moving truck driver, or any career for that matter, don't be afraid to explore the unexpected.
I love that. Sometimes the most fulfilling paths are the ones you least expect.
Exactly. And resources like RoleCatcher are invaluable for helping you navigate those unexpected turns and make informed decisions about your future.
Totally. They equip you with the knowledge, the tools, and honestly, the confidence to take that next step.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, on that note, I think we've successfully unpacked the surprisingly complex world of moving truck driving.
And maybe even debunked a few stereotypes along the way.
Until next time, everyone, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Sure.